remain standing and we have our prayer. Jimmy, Chip. The prayer will be led by Superintendent of Police Jimmy. Please come and take us through. Thank you.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed leaders for the well-being of society and just governance of humanity, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon each and everyone here present, whom you have been pleased to call to performance of such important duty in the country. Let your blessings descend upon us, grant us divine intelligence, wisdom, and guidance during this occasion when we launch the annual crime report of 2023. Almighty God, may the launch of this report remind us of our noble duty of protecting the life and property of all Ugandans and beyond, and may we be energized in wisdom, honesty, courage, and strength in the delivery of our noble calling. We make this prayer for the good of our institution and country. Amen.
You can now sit. Our pastor didn't want to leave the podium. After prayers, you go and sit down, sir. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm Senior Commissioner of Police Fred Enanga, and I'm delighted to be your MC on this special day where we shall be witnessing the launching of the Uganda Police Force Annual Crime Report for the year 2023. This day, the 21st of February. It was almost the same day sometime last year when we launched the Annual Crime Report of the year 2022. Actually, it was on the 22nd of February last year. So we have improved by one more day, which is an achievement for sure. A slight improvement by a single day. We are still on record as, if not the first MDA to have released its annual report amongst all others. I think we deserve an applause for that. And ladies and gentlemen, let's also join hands once again in welcoming our dear chief guest, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. John Martins Okoth Ochola. Sir, we are deeply proud of you, first of all, in finding time to grace this occasion, in appreciation for the good work done by CID and the entire Uganda Police Force in compiling the Annual Crime Report 2023 that you'll be launching today. It's an absolute honor to have your presence with us today. Sir, we also want to thank all directors, members of PAC for the good work that they continue to do every day to promote the vision of the Uganda Police Force. That is of a professional and people-centered police for a safe and secure society. As you can witness, Afande, we also have in this beautiful assembly a number of special invited guests and dignitaries who have honored your presence. Notably among them, I would like to recognize the presence of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Kasigazi Tumusime is also here with us. So we have the Undersecretary of the Uganda Police Force, Dr. Agre Wunyi is present, ministers. We have the representative of the Commissioner General of Prisons, Assistant Inspector General of Prison, T.O. Milton is present. We have the representative of the CDF, Brigadier Rogumayo, who is also the Deputy Chieftain of Military Intelligence. His presence with us here today. We want to warmly welcome you all. Sir, I also want to announce the presence of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Her Lordship Jane Frances Abodo. You're most welcome, Your Lordship. We do have in our presence a delegation from the Justice, Law and Order sector. We have Ms. Rachel Odoi Musoke, accompanied by the technical advisor from the Financial Intelligence Authority, represented by retired Commissioner Ngobi David. We have the country representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Ms. Sharon Lesa Nyambe. We have the Director Government Citizen Interaction Center, Ms. Marcela Kareche, a friend of ours. You're most welcome. We also have the Presidential Assistant, Police Affairs, ACP Susan Kasinje. You're most welcome, Susan. And thank you for being a supporter of our policing activities. You're most welcome. So we have your directors who also form the Police Advisory Committee. I want to announce the presence of the Director of Operations, AIGP Nwajira John, the Director of Counterterrorism, AIGP Abbas Byakagaba, the Director of Criminal Investigations. Yes, sir. All directors, as directed by the Inspector General of Police, please stand up for recognition, please. I thank you for that privilege, Afande. I'm most grateful. We also have senior commissioners of police who are deputy directors. Please stand up. You know, now when you're given powers from above, there's a way you also go ahead and raise your voice. We also have heads of specialized units who are here. Please rise up for recognition. We have the Secretariat, which is working on the Secretariat. You're most welcome. We have the technical team which did the compilation of this annual crime report. We want to also thank you all for coming. The truth of this meeting today is about bringing out the true reality of the crime situation in the previous year, to avoid distortions that are common by negative propagandists within society. And in so doing, the annual crime report gives a very clear contextual analysis of crime data that is needed to guide an effective approach to improving public safety. So we want to thank you all for coming. I want to, before I hand over to the chair, who is the chief guest, I want to recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor from Makerere University, Professor Awichi Eriko Chen is representing the Vice Chancellor, Makerere University. You're welcome. Also from Willow, we have Monica Chamazima. Please, you're most welcome. You're a friend of ours. Sir, I'll be recognizing more of the invited guests as we get along, but I would like now to take this opportunity to hand over to you as our chief guest to give your remark. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, the Deputy IGP, the representatives of the service chiefs, the directors who are here present, all members of PAC, all invited guests in your respective capacities, the JILOS stakeholders, all protocol observed for the sake of time. Now, if you wanted me to mention you particularly, I plead guilty, I will not. It is my pleasure to present the Uganda Police Force Annual Crime Report for 2023 so as to account to the population on how the Uganda Police Force is fulfilling its mandate as stipulated under Article 212 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. In 2023, we note that there was a 1.5% decrease in the number of crimes reported to police from 231,653 cases reported in 2022 to 228,074 cases in 2023. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to those who were able to lodge their complaints at various police stations of the Uganda Police Force in the year 2023. It is these reported complaints that enable us to compile annual crime reports. Relatedly, the force has focused on strengthening discipline and adherence to human rights by introducing disciplinary courts in all districts across the country. The introduction of disciplinary courts marks a significant milestone for the Uganda Police Force. These courts aim at enforcing discipline within the force, ensuring that officers adhere to professional standards and human rights. For instance, out of 933 complaints of human rights violations by the police, 794 were thoroughly investigated and action taken. Additionally, the force has been committed to improving the conditions in detention facilities. The remodeling of 10 facilities in various districts, including Panyadoli, Kiriandongo, Paida, Marasha, and a number of others, has led to the elimination of the soil bucket system, providing 68% coverage of waterborne toilets. Also, the police, in coordination with the sister statutory agencies, such as the UPDF, prisons, SFC, JIC, ISO, CI, and ESO, combated various forms of crime. These joint initiatives have resulted in the reduction of gun-related crimes, illegal firearms, and ammunition proliferation. Our success has been due to the hard work of the police in coordination with the sister statutory agencies, the reorganization of the CID, improved detection and investigation methods, and the establishment of a proactive network of credible intelligence. Furthermore, our strategic partnerships with the community, including the involvement of other intelligence components, have greatly contributed to disrupting and dismantling criminal elements targeting our country. I therefore express my gratitude to the President of Uganda for his guidance and enduring support to the force. I also thank the Minister of Internal Affairs and his entire team at the Ministry headquarters for their stewardship throughout the year. Despite considerable challenges faced and violent acts by groups like ADF, the force has remained dedicated to its mission. The force has also worked extensively on resolving cases related to domestic violence, land conflicts, armed robberies, to mention but a few. Furthermore, I commend the increased cooperation of police with the Office of the DPP, the judiciary, and other partners within the criminal justice system. As we focus on future policing, there are critical areas that the institution must address. These include the following: improving the general welfare of the personnel, conducting specialized trainings, carrying out more recruitments to address the police population ratio. As I conclude, I thank the Director CID and all those involved in organizing this occasion. Now, I will invite the Director of CID to give us an executive summary of the report. I thank you all. Thank you very much.
The IGP and your deputy and colleagues, my Lord, the DPP and the entire protocol which has been laid here in the interest of time, I want to, on behalf, sir, of the colleagues whom you tasked us to put up this report, take this opportunity to thank you so much for the strategic guidance, but also the constant reminders and support. Now, with your permission, Afanda IGP, I will briefly summarize the executive summary of this report, which my team is going to relay. And then as we go on with your guidance, we shall see whether we can have maybe one or two other colleagues, traffic and maybe fire, if possible, to say something briefly, and then we shall wind up our presentation to the public. Now, as you may realize from the speech of the IGP, we have good news to the country. Last year, standing in this very position, we did report to the country that the crime rate had gone up by 18% from the statistics we presented then. But we are glad to say this year, instead, we have seen a 1.5% decrease in the volume of crimes that were reported. And for us, this is huge because it is a combination of all the efforts of our colleagues in the different parts and departments of the Uganda Police and other security agencies. Now, just to our team in the details we shall provide you, have made this time an analysis for the last actually from 2019 to date. So the graph you see there, and I believe our executive summary is being circulated to you, basically shows how we have performed over the last so many years in terms of trend. But just to pick out a few issues, we have a few facts for you. Out of these cases, 94,533 of these cases are still under your inquiry, while 48,632 cases were not proceeded with, basically because sometimes these are civil matters and they have nothing perhaps to do with our investigations. And therefore people report and we encourage them to go to the courts of law. But we also see that we had some good 84,907 cases that were taken to court. And for us, this shows the good partnership the IGP was talking about with DPP and all the justice chain of cases reported, investigated, and the prosecution is able to produce them in court. Now, we had some convictions. To any police detective, they will tell you, and the prosecutor, my lord there, they will tell you that when you get a conviction, that's a huge milestone for any investigator. Not that we are sadists, but we believe that the case was well investigated, well prosecuted, and the judge has taken a decision to convict someone. So in terms of statistics, we see 27,125 cases which got convictions, but there were some cases which were acquitted, 843, and then the cases which were dismissed, 10,096. Now, this can fall in so many sectors. It's not necessarily the failure of police. Sometimes that's the independence of the judiciary. They will make their own decisions upon what we have been able to gather. We still have some cases which are pending in court, which is 46,843. But we have a number of 123,590 which are in the system. It's between police and DPP. In that, we take time to make sure we have the right quality of evidence which can eventually be presented to court. But just to highlight, as Fanda IGP said, we can just give you a snapshot of the details which are in this report based on the major cases that we look out for. In terms of thefts, you can see on the screens, we have had some increment of the cases to 65,901. We see these cases of thefts going on in different parts of the country, especially in urban areas. And the causes range from social, economic, and sometimes political. So it's a complex situation, and I believe the justice chain will have a lot of conversations on this. We can take you to assaults. You see we have had a decline. Last year we were reporting 32,041. We have gone down to 29,884. This is commendable, but we think together we can bring this figure down. On sex-related offenses, interestingly, we see a slight increment in what we reported last year, and we have 14,846. This continues to keep us awake. My lord, the DPP will tell you, it's always painful when you find young people, especially our children, being defiled, being misused, being taken advantage of. So there are a number of cases. We don't see a very good figure, but I think we shall work together and see how best we can reduce this. On domestic violence, we have some good news of some reduction to 14,681 cases. But these have been terrible in our homes. We have seen terrible cases in the last year where a wife kills a husband kills a wife. Sometimes even struggling over simple things like domestic food, and so on. So this cannot be a problem of police alone, but I think the entire society must go back to reflect on how we can reduce on domestic violence. Now, we see break-ins increasing, basically in most parts of the country, but especially in urban centers. And this remains one of our biggest priorities as the Uganda Police Force. On economic crimes, we have also seen a slight reduction to 12,924. This was, if you compare to what we had last year of 13,202, would be good development. But we think this figure can also be brought down as we continue to work together. On child-related offenses, again, we see a decline from 13,489 to 10,747. But there was also another interesting area of threatening violence. Now, we don't know because whether there are effects of COVID and so on, we see a lot of stress in some parts of sections of our society. We see a slight increment in what we reported last year to 10,591. There were also a number of cases of criminal trespass, but compared to last year where we had 8,418, the number went down 7,636. On malicious damage to property, we see an increment in 2023 from 7,838 to 8,043. We continue to grapple with robberies, whereby the figure we gave you last year of 6,854 had some increment to 7,768. On homicides, we have seen, Afande IGP, some increment in the cases of homicide in the last year from 4,043 to 4,248. We also registered a number of cases to do with arson in general, which increased from the 1,747 we reported last year to 1,792. There were a number of cases also related to land. Now, most of these are part of the other statistics. However, the cases that were reported only to the Land Protection Unit are what we have reflected in this executive summary, whereby we see a decrease from 561 to 289 in the previous year. The causes, of course, range to so many things, as we shall go deeper into discussions at some later forums and dates. We saw a reduction in the political and media-related offenses from 140, which was registered in 2022, to 125 that was registered in 2023. Perhaps because this was not an election year, and maybe we may see a different situation as we build to the next general election. Finally, we also give you some good statistics on terrorism. Interestingly, last year we saw an increment in the incidents that we dealt with from what we had reported earlier of 15 to 26 cases, including, if you recall, the tragic incident when our tourists were killed. But we want to thank you, Afande IGP, and the entire components of the security. At least this case was also handled, and we have those who were behind the courts of law to answer for these. And we really think we should build on this momentum to ensure we protect our people. So, sir, basically, that gives a summary of the report which we are going to provide you so that we can have a deeper analysis of these facts. With those remarks, sir, I want to thank you and end at this particular point.
Thank you very much, Director CID. Can we have some remarks from the Director Traffic? Oh, we start with the fire.
Sir, we had requested we start with the traffic, because traffic has a lot of problems. Our people, we lost so many lives.
No, but we are not interested in his problems. Let him come and give us a summary of his report. Not lamenting his problems here. Where is the traffic?
the Inspector General Police, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to grace this occasion of releasing the annual crime report.
Director Traffic, I thanked them on your behalf, so don't repeat thanking them. Go straight to what you have to present.
Last year, we recorded a number of crashes, and we know the time when most crashes occur. These crashes occur between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Similarly, death also occurs between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. That is when we register many fatalities on the roads. We still continue to lose the age below 35 years, and this is the productive age of our economy. We continue to experience a rise in crashes as a result of the two-wheelers known as boda boda. The growth rate of motorization, especially the boda boda in this country, is high, and we continue to register death as a result of these two-wheelers. The most vulnerable road users recorded in 2023 were as follows. The most vulnerable were the pedestrians, followed by the motorcyclists.
Director Traffic, what you are presenting is on what page? Which page is this? Page of the report, what you are presenting?
Sir, not from my doctor. Sir, I'm giving that preamble, and which
it is
will
just a preamble.
Yes, sir. Which will now show what is on our report that is reflected here.
You see, we have visitors here, we have guests. They need to follow what we are doing. So you should have started by telling us you are beginning with a preamble. I've been looking at the report. I don't see what you are giving us.
I hope from the report, I'll go direct to now the report. From the report, there was an increase of road traffic crashes that amounted to 15.5%, and also an increase in death as projected here. When you look at the trend analysis, the trend analysis from 2019 to 2023, there has been a steady increase in road crashes. And this increase is registered in categories of road users as motorcyclists, pedestrians, and those cycling. That's where we derive an increase when you look at the trend analysis of 2019 to 2023. However, there are several interventions and these interventions include a systems approach in addressing road safety issues in this country. Education, engineering are critical intervention areas expected to have an impact on the reduction of these crashes. Finally, I would like to call upon the road users, all road users of each category that I mentioned in the preamble, to use the road carefully, because road crashes are preventable. We can prevent the road menace and spare the lives of our population or the productive age. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Director Traffic. But I would encourage all members here, when you get copies of the report, when I launch it, he has been having a radio talk show, an equivalent of a radio talk show, but the details are in this report. Can we have fire? Forensic services, I can see you also have a small part here. I don't know, in this report there's forensic. But if you feel you are not, I will spare you. Fire.
I thank you, the Chief Guest, the Inspector General Police, and all the invited guests. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In the year 2023, the Directorate of Fire and Rescue Services received and responded to a total of 1,144. That was a reduction of 9% compared to 2022. And as you can see in the report, in 2022, we had 1,258. And in 2023, 1,144. Out of these, 940 were major fires, 189 were minor, those that didn't require much effort to put them off. And 15 of them were false, representing a percentage of 47%. Rather, were 15, I beg your pardon. Most of the fires occurred between 6 in the morning and 12 100 hours in the afternoon. That represented 42%. And after 12 hours to midnight, that represented 52.8%. The majority of fires were registered in residential buildings, accounting for 233, and the other ones registered in makeshift structures, accounting for 226. School fires, on a good note, sir, though not so good, but better than 2022, reduced by percentage of 23.1%. From 65 cases or fire incidents in schools in 2022 to 50 cases reported and responded to in 2023. The other figures are presented on the board, but the explanation is that there was concerted effort, particularly dedicated, focused, with special zeal and attention to fire safety promotion in schools in all the regions of the country, involving all major stakeholders, and that accounts for that good reduction of 23% from 65 to 50 cases. And the momentum and dedicated focus on that continues so that we can register better results this year. I thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, on Monday, during the IGP's briefing, where Mr. Nanga normally chairs, the directors of operations, fire, CID, and traffic will be there to answer the journalists' questions. I'm sure journalists will have internalized this so that you take time on Monday, not here today, but on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, all said and done, I now take this singular honor to launch the Uganda Police Force Annual Crime Report for 2023. Thank you very much. It is here. You may now distribute those copies to our guests and whoever deserves it. I don't know whether the press, the media deserve it also. Mr. Nanga, over to you. Okay, now, you see, having Mr. Nanga as the PR who's very, very strategic, he has advised me that there are strategic partners who need to say a word or two. Madam DPP, my lord. Then Senior Jailos Technical, you will come next. I don't know, does the Financial Intelligence Authority also need to say something? Okay, you think aloud within yourself. Thank you, DPP.
Thank you, my brother, the IGP, and thank you, Mr. Nanga, for remembering the strategic partners. I want to join the IGP and all of us to congratulate you, the CID and the security agencies. I know that you did so much work to put this together. I was almost saying, I think the next one we are going to join, and we say the joint. You know, this is a very good accountability, my brother, very good accountability to the nation, because we have the mandate to work for the people. Just a few things that I noted, that the numbers, we should be able to interpret these numbers positively. I want to say the reduced crime rate, congratulations. CID, the security agencies, that's why we are moving even from prosecution-guided investigations to actually intelligence-guided, because most of the offenses, IGP, we actually get them from intelligence. Then the intelligence the police work on it, plus our prosecutors, and turn them to evidence. So we want to have that collaboration strengthened. I am also looking at the cases dismissed. This is a bit of an indictment on all of us. And I think the cry has been, we don't summon witnesses. I don't know what is happening. We do not summon witnesses. So most of these cases which are dismissed are actually that witnesses did not come because they were not summoned. So we need to refocus and put more funds on summoning of witnesses. My brother IGP, the judiciary is increasing every single, let me say month, they're recruiting. This puts pressure on you, this puts pressure on me, and the other criminal justice actors. So we need to speak one voice, that we need to increase numbers. We need more boots on the ground for the office of the DPP, for the police, and other criminal agencies, because then we all deliver as one. What do we need to do? Apart from increasing boots on the ground, we need to retool. We need the tools to do our work. We need to relearn, capacity building. Almost all the crimes are being committed by use of some kind of technology. Even a simple assault now is committed by use of technology. So we need to retool our foot soldiers. And definitely, I was just looking at the guidelines that have been put by the Chief Justice. They have streamlined the bail in the courts of law and brought some kind of sanity. I was just thinking in the lines of police bond. Shouldn't we be thinking of putting guidelines for police bond? There are some offenses where you cannot give police bond, like terrorism. Can you give a police bond? Because you'll wake up one time and someone deep in Amuru has given a suspect of terrorism a police bond. Will you ever see that person? You will never see them. So I think we need to sit down and come up with guidelines on police bond. Which are the offenses you can give? Which are the, of course, and also collection, processing, and storage of exhibits. When I say this, of course, the media is going to jump and say 48 hours. But 48 hours should really be looked at. In terms of, we should look at, do we have enough numbers? IGP, your investigators will tell you that they go to a particular station and they're waiting for one state attorney who is appearing before 4 judicial officers to sanction a charge. The police officers wait there until evening. They go back. That's one day. Almost 12 hours gone. The next day they come back. The state attorney is in a high court session, which starts from 8 to around 6, sometimes even 7. And then 48 hours go, and then we say the police are over-detaining. These 48 hours, we need this conversation. It has to be at the backdrop of, do we have enough staff on the ground? Every state attorney, every judicial officer should have 2 state attorneys serving them. But now it is the opposite. It is 1 state attorney against 4 judicial officers. The judicial officers are sitting, waiting in court for the state attorney to come. So that's the problem we're having. And of course, I'm so happy to hear about the holding cells, that they are being improved. I'm also happy about the introduction of disciplinary courts in all districts. So I'm thinking that the Human Rights Enforcement Act is going to become redundant because I don't think they will be having any candidates to go there. And with these few remarks, I just want once again to congratulate you and to tell you without really fear of contradiction that we are having a very good working relationship with the director CID and with the director ISO, with crime intelligence and CMI. We really work as one. And most of the cases that we have recently investigated jointly, because even me now I investigate, I guide in the investigations. We have done it in record time because all the agencies have been working together as one. So that's why I call Director CID my twin. The Constitution makes him my twin because without him, there's no one for me to direct. I have someone to direct. So with those few remarks, I want to thank you and congratulate once again for God and my country. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, my Lord, for those good remarks. The media you have had, you are not mentioned as being a partner with us. So it is up to you to pull up your sleeves now. Can we hear from the Senior Technical Advisor, Jailos, Madam Rachel? Thank you very much. You would have a cup and her. Supposing something happens to her. You are supposed to be an escort, my friend.
Our chief guest this morning, the Inspector General of Police, the Deputy Inspector General, and the entire police management, my Lord the DPP, representatives of the security forces, colleagues from the justice institutions, colleagues from civil society, from other government agencies, from the media, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to take this opportunity to congratulate the IGP and the entire police force for the hard work that has been done to put together this annual crime report and to have it ready very early in the year. We appreciate this. For the justice institutions, there are documents that we have as our key reference points for decision making. The information that we use that informs the investments, that informs the future action, that informs our areas of reform. And one of these is the annual police report. So now, whenever we receive it in time, it comes at a point in time when it makes it very easy for us to make decisions, particularly in our budgeting processes, which are ongoing now, and inform what we're going to do over the next few years. So we really appreciate that, and we congratulate you all on this achievement and for the hard work that has gone into producing this report. We've had a chance to hear some of the statistics very briefly and a quick glance. As the justice institutions, we hope that we will have an opportunity to discuss them in depth, to have a more robust discussion around some of the statistics that have been presented. But we can note immediately that there's some good news. We see an improvement in the overall crime rate, which is one of our targets as the justice institutions. And we really commend the effort of all the security forces in ensuring that our crime rate is not only managed, but is reducing. We also commend the police on the conviction rate. We, together with Mr. Wailaga, we're doing very quick mathematics here, and from the statistics that we have, it indicates a 71% conviction rate, which is an extremely high conviction rate. Many times people tell us, why do you consider the conviction rate? You should just be concerned about justice. But I think particularly for police, the conviction rate is critical. It's an indication of the quality of investigations. It's an indication that the work is being done well, the evidence is being collected and presented appropriately for the judiciary to make decisions. So we commend the work of the police, the Directorate of CID, and all the other directorates that support this work in ensuring that we have this very high conviction rate. But it's also a clear indication of the strength of our coordination structures across the justice chain. This conviction rate is a combination of the work of police, but it also involves the work of the prosecution. Few as they are, we are able to achieve this rate. And so we have to commend ourselves for the work that has been done. And we look forward to seeing that there's more effort put in to be able to improve this even further. Because at the end of the day, by the time you investigate a case and present it to the DPP, you're confident that you have the real suspect. So it should translate into a much higher conviction rate. So we should look at improving our target even better. The last time we were here, there were some areas that we had noted where the rates were reducing. Somewhere we saw the rates were increasing, and I'm glad to note that there has been improvement, particularly in areas where we had seen an increase. We're now seeing a reduction in economic crime, which is a very good sign, and it means that we have the right interventions and the right efforts towards addressing this particular intervention. And we look forward to working closely with the police to continue to reduce this particular area, because it has become one of the more problematic areas because of its technicality, but also the syndicated nature, how it relates to other issues like corruption, and how it affects the ordinary person. And so these are areas where we think we can do a bit more work, but we commend what has been done so far. We still need to look at issues like theft, sex-related cases, domestic violence, where the numbers, even if they may be reducing, are still quite high. To have rates of 14,000 cases of domestic violence, and as the director has mentioned, some of these are quite heinous. These are areas that we need to pay special attention because they affect the family. Just recently, as the JLOS institutions, together with URSB, we held a discussion on family justice and marriage, and this was one of the areas that came out very strongly. So it's not just affecting crime, but it's affecting domestic life, and it's affecting the basic livelihoods and economic well-being of our families and our homes. So we need to put a bit more focus here, and we are committed to working together with the police to address this particular area. We also note that we still have issues around traffic and road safety. We've seen a lot of work being done to improve our roads in terms of the construction of new roads, the repairs of the old roads, and we hope that this will help to contribute to improving on the statistics around road safety. But it can also be a double-edged sword because we know with our public, with very good roads, we get high speeds and reckless driving. So as we improve the road network, we also need to focus on public education and awareness about road traffic, the road rules, and discipline so that we can address this particular issue of road safety. As I end, I just wish to commit from the Justice Sector, Secretariat and the institutions that we continue to emphasize the 3 C's: communication, coordination, cooperation. Communication by sharing information, as we are doing today through this report. Coordination through the structures and the partnerships that we have across the chain of justice. And cooperation, ensuring that all our efforts are connected, are related, and address each other's challenges and concerns for the good of our nation. We are committed to doing this together, and we continue to looking forward to supporting the Uganda Police Force. It's also our hope, our chief guest, that in a year or 2 from now, we shall be able to hold this same function at the new home for the Uganda Police Force. And we look forward to doing that. So thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Rachel. Incidentally, for those who don't know, Rachel, myself, and Ofono Pondo, we are from Mulanda. So those are the examples of people from Mulanda. Thank you very much. Sam, thank you for the bodyguarding. Okay, Bukid, yes, fine, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round of applause to the previous speakers for having given us those very beautiful remarks. We are now going into the signing of the dummy annual crime report, where we shall kindly ask the Inspector General of Police to come down and sign the dummy. Protocol, can you remove that face and leave the dummy? He will be followed by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, and then the DPP, the representatives of the service chiefs, and our major invited guests on the other wing, JLOS, and so on. Madam, Your Lordship. I don't know if the Governor Bank of Uganda was looking for a signature would qualify amongst those ones that are going to appear on that dummy. Finally, we thank you for the signing of the dummy. Now we have the DIG, followed by Her Lordship, the DPP. These are very beautiful signatures. I don't know how mine will appear. Can we have the representatives of the service chiefs? The band, please give us a nice melody.